This November, when the chips are down, America needs a leader it can turn to. His name is Dan Campbell. He has revived not one, but 2 franchises.
Welcome to Applebee's.
He is a man of culture.
I love the experience of a theater now. Go in and get some popcorn, get you a Coke, sit down, recline the seat.
He has a plan to bring America back.
But I got a plan, I swear to you. I just need you to trust me, that's all.
For Detroit, for America, for you. On November 5th, there is one man who will lead America into the future. Vote Dan Campbell for president.
I'm Dan Campbell, and I approve this message.
So we got a big divisional game this week. We're heading down to Green Bay to take on the Packers at Lambeau Field. And before we begin, there's one more thing I want to say, though. Green Bay, Wisconsin, acknowledge your reigning, defending, undisputed NFC North heavyweight champions of the world, the Detroit Lions. So yeah, big game this week. First place in the NFC North on the line, with the Packers now trying to challenge the Lions for the top spot in the North. So after we dismantled the Vikings a couple weeks ago, we have a new challenger in the North. So let's take a look at this game and see how it sets up. So of course, I'm entering this game currently. Detroit, the point spread line has Detroit currently favored in this game by 3.5 points. So Detroit are almost 4-point favorites over Green Bay. I mean, let's be honest. Detroit's not going to get a point spread like they had against Tennessee every week. Detroit's not going to get favored by, double digits every week. There are going to be some games where they're going to get close point spreads. So, yeah, it's expected to be a close game. You know, Packers and Lions. You know, one of the best rivalries in the NFC North right now. It ain't Green Bay, Chicago. It's not Detroit, Minnesota. It ain't Detroit, Chicago. Detroit, Chicago, just a bad blood rivalry. And it sure as fuck ain't Green Bay, Minnesota. This is the rivalry of the North. Detroit, Green Bay. They don't like us. We don't like them. We honestly don't give a fuck. So, of course, Green Bay, they lead the all-time series over Detroit, 106-76-7. However, Detroit has won 4 of the last 6 meetings against Green Bay. So, even though historically Green Bay has been the better team, Detroit has had Green Bay's number in recent memory since 4 of those last 6 have been under Dan Campbell's leadership. So yeah, of course, also Detroit, they are 3-0 on the road this year. Green Bay is 3-1 at home this year. So yeah, and the one loss Green Bay had at home was to the Vikings, and that was the first game. That was Jordan Love's first game back after he was injured back in the start of the year. And speaking of it, let's get right to the key players on the offense. Of course, the big note is that Jordan Love, he is questionable for this game with that groin injury he suffered last week. So if Jordan Love can't go, it'll be Malik Willis getting the nod at QB. But a lot of reports are lining up to where Jordan Love is expected to play. So I think that's who Detroit's facing. So they'll be facing a Jordan Love that most likely will not be 100%. But, you know, Jordan Love is still Jordan Love because, yeah, the Packers once again lucked their way into a franchise quarterback for a third straight time. God help us all. Like, seriously, Green Bay, how do you get fucking lucky with that shit? God damn. And the worst part now is probably everybody's going to start copying Green Bay on how to develop QBs. Since, yeah, there's definitely a QB developmental problem and a scouting problem and a bunch of other shit. Since everyone's trying to take raw QBs to be like Josh Allen. Problem is, not every QB can be Josh Allen. Anyway, back to the list of key players on offense. So, of course, the running back, of course, is Josh Jacobs taking the ball for the Packers. And he'll be taking most of the load since A.J. Dillon is on IR with a neck injury. That's a big loss, still. You know, Packers had a good 1-2 punch, but A.J. Dillon then got injured. Fuck. And then the receiving core, well, the receiving core, they got Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and Christian Watson as the receivers. And, of course, they don't have tight end Luke Musgrave as he's on the IR with an ankle injury. In terms of the key players on defense, the D-line is anchored by the likes of Kenny Clark, Rashad Gary, Rashad Gary is who I argue is the best player on the Packers right now. They also have TJ Slayton and Preston Smith anchoring the D-line. Wow, the linebacking core, well, Quay Walker, he's questionable for this game with on a concussion protocol. But I imagine Quay's going to play. I think he'll clear concussion protocol, and so I think he'll play in the Sunday. And also, Jaron Cooper's in there in the linebacking core. The secondary, well, Jair Alexander, he's questionable in this game with a knee injury. So that would be a big loss for the secondary if Jair doesn't play. But they do have other talented players on the secondary like Javon Bullard, Xavier McKinney, Keyshawn Neeson, and Eric Stokes. Of course, the head coach of the squad is Matt LaFleur, as so far Matt is proving that he is not a merchant of Aaron Rodgers. So far, you know, still a long way to go to decide that, though. The offensive coordinator is Adam Stenovich, and the defensive coordinator is Jeff Halfeatley. And in terms of the Packers' offensive defensive rankings, the offense is the 6th-ranked offense in the league, 9th in the pass game, top 5 in the rush game at number 5. While the Packers' defense, it's a bit in the middle of the pack. There's the 16th-ranked defense in the league. 19th against the pass, but they're a top 10 unit against the run at number 10. So, yeah, I think obviously the big key here is, you know, try and get some receivers open, try and take advantage of mismatches. And also, before we continue on, though, and before we get to the keys to win this game, I should mention one more thing that will take passing out of this equation entirely. This game, not only is it America's Game of the Week on Fox, this is most likely going to be a weather game because it's most likely going to be raining during this game Sunday in Green Bay, Wisconsin. As Green Bay, Wisconsin, it's forecasted that it's supposed to be raining Sunday. So most likely weather will play a factor in this game. So if it ends up raining, then passing will be non-existent and this won't be a high-scoring game. So if it ends up raining, then establishing the run is going to be very crucial to possibly winning this game. You know, get that 1-2 punch of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery rolling again. Get Sonic and Knuckles back on it. See if Green Bay can keep up. Since we all know Jahmyr got to go fast and Knuckles got to pound the ball. See, I think obviously establishing the run is going to be very crucial if it becomes a weather game, which will most likely be. You know, I think, you got to get pressure to Jordan Love. And stop the Packers' run. You got to stop the run game on the Packers. Got to stop Josh Jacobs. Got to take care of the receivers like Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. And also watch out for any trick plays Matt LaFleur wants to pull on us, since we all saw what happened on Thanksgiving last year to start the game when they did that big 50-yard bomb to start the last game. So, got to watch out for that trickery this time. I think also winning the turnover battle is going to be crucial. Because if it ends up raining, that ball's going to be very hard to get a grip on because it'll be very slippery. So I think winning that turnover battle is going to be very crucial if it comes down to turnovers in the game. Like, if it ends up being a rain game, Which, hey, you know, I don't like games to be decided by weather, but hey, you know, everybody's got to deal with it at some point. And, you know, it's been a while since Detroit last had to deal with weather, and now it's Detroit's time to deal with it. So, yeah, it's now Detroit's turn possibly to deal with weather. And it's against Green Bay in a very crucial game for first place in the North. Sadly, Mother Nature decided that we cannot have this game end and go on equal terms. We have to add the elements into it as well. So, yeah. And, yeah, you know, definitely, you know, I think getting pressure on Jordan Love, too, so dealing with that groin injury. Try and get, you know, it'll be interesting to see if that will affect his mobility or not. But definitely getting pressure him is going to be very crucial to winning. And try and making him feel as uncomfortable as possible. You know, I think also try and get him to throw some turnovers, too. Since so far, in terms of the whole Jordan Love to Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre comparison, Love honestly plays more like Brett Favre than Aaron Rodgers. Like he already has the interception turnover thing down pat. Like, the only difference between Love and Favre is that Love doesn't send dick pics to fucking women, or he doesn't steal from the poor people like Favre does. So yeah, that's mainly the only difference is. But yeah. So far, Love hasn't been corrupted that far yet. But yeah, you know, just, you know, this is a very crucial game. Gotta get this win, especially since the Vikings beat them earlier in the year. Because if the Lions don't win this game, guess which fan base will be coming out of hiding and be like, see, I told you you guys were frauds. How dare you call us frauds, you fucking assholes from the 313. Fuck you, Detroit. Minnesota scolded the bull and you fucking knew it. And that's the last thing we want to deal with as fucking Viking fans coming out of hiding after we put them back where they fucking belonged 2 weeks ago. Even doing Green Bay a solid too and getting Green Bay up here. But now it's time for it. But now Green Bay, you thought you had chances again to done, but party's over now. As, yeah, I think Detroit's coming into Lambeau Week 9. You know, Detroit's got a lot of momentum. They got a lot of good rolling. You know, Green Bay's coming off barely beating the Jaguars last week. So, you know, this is going to be a big game. You know, Detroit's got to get this game. It's a must-win divisional game. You got first place in the division on the line. Especially with how both teams' schedules shape up coming up. Especially the Lions coming up. Because the Lions' schedule is going to get a little tougher coming up. Especially since after this game, we have the AFC South Gauntlet coming up. As the next 3 games are against AFC South opponents. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tough schedule to go out. So, you know, every game is going to be crucial for the Lions from here on out to try and get, you know, to get that push to the playoffs, especially since the Lions currently hold the #1 seed in the NFC and are currently contending with the Commanders for top spot in the NFC, along with Green Bay as well, since now Detroit has some breathing room over Minnesota after the Vikings lost to the Rams last week. So, you know, I think getting this win, establishing a run, can get it done. And the Packers, I think Packer fans are underestimating Detroit. I think Packer fans are making the same mistake that Viking fans made 2 weeks ago. And all I say to Packer fans is go ahead, underestimate us. Because it's just going to make it much more satisfying when we come into Lambeau, and not only will the fan base take over Lambeau again like we did last year, we're going to come in there and we'll whoop your ass, and we'll show everybody why the NFC North runs through the 313. And there ain't a goddamn thing you can do about it, cheeseheads. So, yeah, let's go get this win. In terms of this game, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to come down to defense and who wins that turnover battle and can establish that run game. I have Detroit winning this game 21-18. I'm going to take Detroit by 3 over the Packers. I think it's gonna be a very close game. It's, you know, there's a reason why it's America's Game of the Week, because this is gonna be one of the top rivalries in the NFL right now. And I'm looking forward to this Sunday. And let's hand those cheeseheads in Wisconsin another L. And let's make it 5 of the last 7 on Green Bay for the 313. So let's go to Lambeau. Let's get this win. Let's beat the Packers. And let's make the Packers go from Go Pack Go to Blow Pack Blow. Because after this Sunday, when Detroit stays on top of the NFC North, all you Packer fans can blow me. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. Let's go get this win on Sunday. I'm out. Go Lions, and fuck the Packers.